What led to me becoming a content creator? All my life since I was a child, I knew that I would end up in a creative field just from, the questions that I had after watching TV shows, commercials, and movies. From small questions like whose job was it to create the lower thirds for the phone numbers and the actors' names that were on infomercials, to bigger things like whose job was it to create the visual effects and how did they achieve that. And having those kind of questions, I knew like if I pursued the answer to those questions, I would eventually find myself in that field. And that's kind of like exactly what happened. My sophomore year in high school, I joined in the TV production program and just learned a lot from there. Like that was kind of like the start of my content creation career. So after high school, I went on to major in film production technology in college, which drastically changed the trajectory of my content creation career because it allowed me to be on set as a production assistant for multiple commercials, even a Super Bowl commercial, network TV shows, and moderately sized budget indie films. So from there though, I knew that I didn't want to get stuck being the lowest on the totem pole for these different productions that I was part of. So I decided to go the indie route and just get a regular job, trying to support myself and hopefully save up enough to buy my own gear and equipment so that I can start my own production company. My life has changed drastically since becoming a full-time content creator. I started my business back in 2016, but I was only doing content creation on the side while I held down a regular 9 to 5. But then in March of 2020, I got laid off, and so I had no choice but to kind of jump headfirst into doing content creation full-time to be able to support myself. Doing content creation full-time has definitely been very liberating in a way, just because you get to be your own boss, you get to set your own times and schedules, and you kind of rock to the beat of your own drum. But it can definitely be pressure intensive at times if you don't have the discipline to finish projects because, unlike a 9 to 5, you don't have a boss who's going to be on top of you, making sure that you are like meeting your deadlines and doing the things that you have to do. You don't have coworkers, for the most part, that are gonna help you out with all the projects that you have coming in. You kind of just stuck out here doing your own thing. If you're not good at like setting time aside and buckling down and getting the work done from pre-production to post-production, then you're gonna have a difficult time. Working with Social Native has definitely been very beneficial for me, just because they were the first company that kind of catapulted me into working with bigger brands and corporations. I can remember the first projects that they gave me were a string of ad campaigns for Simon Malls. They were very helpful in coming up with a shot list and like a bunch of things that I needed for coverage, but they also gave me the free range to be as creative as I wanted with getting those shots and even with casting the actresses for those commercials. So yeah, I'm definitely appreciative of Social Native and all the opportunities that they provide for me. My advice to new creators would be to just continue to work at your craft and be diligent in your work. The jobs, they'll eventually come, but until they do, you have to kind of show the world what you're able to do. Nobody wants to kind of hire a beginner. I would also say you have to be very disciplined to be able to see a project all the way through and set deadlines for yourself and try to constantly meet those deadlines because that's like a bulk of what you'll be doing. And if you're doing this full time, I would definitely say it's important to create time for rest and relaxation just because burnout is a real thing. But at the same time, also create time to kind of work on your own passion projects just because you're more likely to try something unique and different than how you usually do things that you necessarily wouldn't try on a project that somebody's paying you to do. And that's where you'll be able to flex your most creative muscles. So, yeah.